Wow, wow, wow. This has been amazing. God has been showing up and showing out on this weekend. And I am so excited because we are literally in the stage of the last two amazing moments. And this moment right here is pivotal. It's life changing. This is the Christians and Finance panel, you all. And this is very important because as we have talked and as we have shared, we talked about overflow. We've talked about abundance. We talked about shifting into our new. We've talked about growth. We've talked about increase. We're talking about taking off, right? But then how do we handle the increase? How do we handle the influx? How do we manage until the influx really comes? So as you all come in, share, because I know that this panel is absolutely going to be phenomenal. This is the final panel of the weekend. And God orchestrates all things. God sets all things up for his glory and for his honor. So he strategically wanted us to leave with an understanding of the keys to really shifting our lives in the area of our finances. So this is the moment to really buckle up, get ready, hear. If they have to tell you some things that may cut you a little bit because you've been doing it wrong, it's okay. Take it in, receive it, and shift and change. Okay. So I'm excited about these lovely women who are about to grace the stage. Our wonderful moderator is Boss Lady Brooks. And then we have Miss Bree Smith. We have Miss Tanita. I like to say Tarita, but Tanita Brinkley. And we have Miss Antoinette Hines. And these ladies are passionate about helping people really get in the right place in the realm of finances so that you all can be successful and flourish and thrive, which is what we want to do. We want to do it in a way that honors God. So without any further ado, I'm getting off and welcome the Christians in Finance panel.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How are you ladies doing today?
I'm good. I'm doing well.
That's good. I want to take some time and ask you guys some questions. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Kim Boss Lady Brooks. I met, is it Trinita? Is that how you pronounce it? Brinkley. Yes, I met you before at a conference.
Yes.
If you guys could maybe just say your name and just introduce maybe the name of your business that you're with, or if you don't have a business or organization, say something that give people some information about yourself.
All right. Well, I don't mind starting. So I'm Tanita Brinkley. I'm the owner of Tanita Brinkley Enterprises, which is a small business accounting services firm. I work with small business owners throughout the Virginia area and throughout the nation. My core functions are bookkeeping, payroll, business formation, budgeting, and tax preparation. It's my passion to not only provide accounting services, but also to educate business owners on, how to authenticate their business.
Who wants to go next?
Hi, I'm Antoinette Gann of Uniquely Me LLC. I'm here in Georgia. I am a personal finance and awareness coach. I love dealing with people in their finances, bringing you to the reality of where you are and where you want to go. The biggest thing is people don't want to budget because they don't want to really see what they're really dealing with. But I like to bring your reality to your face. Mirror check. I'm the mirror check queen. Look in the mirror, see what you're really dealing with. Mm-hmm. So I deal with the reality of your finances and your relational connection with your finances. What is the relationship you have with your finances? What have you been taught in the past, and what are you doing now that may be hindering your growth to bring you to a better place in life?
Okay. You're on mute.
That will explain it. Hey everyone, I'm Bree Smith. I'm a CPA and financial coach. I'm the owner of BD Smith Financial Services. There, I help my clients to be able to start conquering their financial goals. We go over budgeting, getting out of debt, saving more, also being able to dream and reach our goals. And so we set goals and we achieve them there. We look at being able to retire early in our 30s and 40s. People are doing it now. There's no reason why you cannot. We are looking at, just putting forth a plan that works for that individual. I don't like cookie cutter plans. I feel like, finances are personal. So I make sure to get into the personal aspect for my client. When it comes to getting out of debt, it doesn't matter which way you get there, as long as you get out. And so whichever way is going to work for you and your personality type, that's what I like to do. So that's me.
Okay. All right. So I want to ask you, all three of you, some questions. So I'm going to give you, each one of you, a chance to answer the questions. Can you guys hear me real good? Yeah. Okay. All right. So my first question is, what led you on a journey to give knowledge in the area of finances? I'm going to start with Bree. I'm going to start with you first.
So for me, I just felt like it seemed like finances and wealth, it was just for those special people. So we'll look at like, oh, Bill Gates can do it, Warren Buffett can do it, but what about me? And I felt like, God wants us to live a life of abundance. He did not bring us here to be poor, to be broke, to be living paycheck to paycheck. That is just not our life. And so I wanted to be able to help others to realize that I have a wealth of knowledge that I've learned through school and my education, as well as with my experience with being a public accountant and, with coaching. And so I wanted to be able to help people to be able to realize that it does not have to be a big secret or mystery, how to conquer your finances and your goals, how to live a wealthy life. Like when I had said about people retiring in their 30s and 40s, these are not just doctors and those making 6+ figures. These are teachers. These are people that may only bring in $50K a year, but with a proper plan that they're executing, they're getting it done. And so, retirement is just a number and it's not an age. And so I just love being able to help people to realize that and, go towards whatever their version of financial success is.
All right, Antoinette.
Hi, the reason why I got into finances, I first had my first child at 16. And so I had to learn real quick what finances look like, even though I was a little spoiled. When you have a child at 16, the responsibility starts to fall down on you. So my grandmother took me in and started teaching me about finances. But what I realized was she taught me about finances, but not my twin brother and my sister. So there was a disparity inside our household, and the way that we were doing things as we matured was so vastly different. And then I joined the military and realized, okay, there's a disparity between the ranks and how people conduct themselves when it comes down to their relationship with money. And that's what made me really want to dive into it, because the lower soldiers were actually going to pay their loans and getting into these really bad cycles of not being able to get out of them. And so it made me dig deeper and say, okay, so what can I do to shift your mindset, your relational connection with money, and how you see money and where you really are. You don't have the money that the senior people have. You don't have money that those of higher rank have. And you don't have money of your grandparents. Like, you're really on your own. Once you joined the military, you left home, you're now on your own feet. And then I became a single mother. So it just kept fueling the fire. Every time I said, okay, I don't really have to do this, the fire just kept getting fueled again, because I was seeing things right in my face. And then being a single parent, you really have to deal with it, learn how to budget and make it work for you. And like she said, everything is by individual person. So there's no cookie cutter. You have to meet them where they are. If you're a lower income and you're just barely making it, we got to shift your mindset of how you're doing things, especially your priorities, depending on where they are. So for me, it just kept coming back to me. This is what I need to do. And if I got the avenue, the tools, and the way, let me assist you with that.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Okay. So you said, what led me on the journey to give knowledge in the area of finances? So as a small business accountant or public accountant, I started out working with churches and nonprofit organizations. That was my niche, or my core clientele. And that was really a rocky road because pastors and directors of nonprofit organizations look at money differently than for-profit businesses. So it was a bit of a pull to try and get everyone to follow a budget and set financial goals. In ministry, I noticed that when we're talking faith and just walking by it, it's kind of hard to implement a budget on a business level. So that pushed me into the more for-profit arena. But it was no different. Business owners were still walking blindly without a budget, without any kind of goals or plan in place. So when I saw that, it led me to put together some simple strategies to help business owners and churches. And once I saw that people were gravitating to it and it was helping people, it just fueled me to want to do it more. So I put together a class that's called Keys to Authenticating Your Business. Because prior to going in a private practice, I was working for one of the big four accounting firms, PricewaterhouseCoopers. And there I worked in the auditing department. So I learned all about audits and how to protect the business, how to authenticate and validate transactions. So I thought it would be very helpful to bring that knowledge to small businesses and nonprofit organizations so that they can protect themselves and so that they won't be operating business in the blind or in the dark. So that's what fueled me to want to educate, because at first I was okay with just being behind the desk and crunching numbers and, producing a tax return and just doing that. So it turned into a more educational thing once I saw that there was a great need for the knowledge and how the information wasn't just so easily accessible or just readily available for a business owner who does want to get things right. So I started to do consultations and put together that course.
All right. Very interesting. 3 different stories. Okay. Another question I want to ask you is, do you see a major problem in regards to people and finances? We've been in a pandemic for we're 2021 heading to 22. So say like 2019 and 2020, a lot of people really lost income. 2021 this year, some people gained some back, some people still haven't. So what are some of the major problems that you see in regards to people and their finances, right now? What do you see? We're going to start with Antoinette first. She frozen. I've seen her blink out. Okay, well, Tanita, we'll start with you.
Okay. All right. So what are some of the problems? So, okay, from my perspective as an accountant, I'm definitely looking at numbers every day and I'm seeing the fluctuation. And when I look at someone's P&L statement prior to the pandemic in comparison to when the pandemic hit, there's definitely a decline in the finances and there's a lot of scares that are happening across the board, and fear of, just being able to continue in business and grow. So I think one of the problems is that a lot of people don't foresee or forecast or plan for the unforeseen. A lot of us are doing business on the go and making decisions just, on the spot without planning and having proper preparation. I'm not a financial planner, but I do encourage people to have ample savings, 3 to 6 months worth of their bills set aside for their emergency fund and all that good stuff. And I actually factor that into a budget plan. One thing I do talk to business owners about is making your savings just as important as paying your mortgage or paying those important bills. because you never know what could happen. We could have never foreseen that we would be in a worldwide pandemic. And the ones who were living check to check, just without considering their savings, are the ones that were hit the hardest. And obviously the ones who were saving, we had to dip into our savings in order to be able to survive. But it gave a lot of us a sense of comfort in knowing that that sacrifice that I made, that savings plan that I stuck with, it actually served me well. So I definitely encourage people to just go hard with saving. Make that savings plan just as important as those fixed expenses, so that in case a disaster ever happens, we don't have to try and go and, apply for loans and, rob Peter to pay Paul, so to speak. And just being comfortable in life, knowing that if something happens, I can cover my expenses.
Okay. All right. Antoinette, go. Are you there? Okay. All right. Go ahead, Bree.
All right. So to piggyback on what Tanita was saying, because she was spot on having a plan. I really feel like the problem is that people do not have a plan, and they also lack financial knowledge. It's just having the know-how. So a lot of people weren't taught about it at home. And then when they become adults, they don't get any better with it. They just start finding ways to get loans or credit cards, run the credit cards up. I'll pay the minimum. I mean, they go into debt. And so those sort of habits, if you're not building healthy financial habits when it's good times, then the bad times, you're really going to be in trouble. And also, everyone didn't necessarily have lack during this pandemic. Also, there are some people that are still doing well. They never lost their jobs. They may have gotten new jobs, got raises, things like that. And those people are who I'm really scared for, because they may feel invincible right now. They think that, oh, well, the pandemic ain't stopped me. Nothing's going to get in my way. There's no reason for me to change a thing. And that is not true, because just because this pandemic did not hurt you, there are other things that may come your way, whether it be illness within your family, whether it be losing a loved one, or, whatever the case may be. Anything can happen at any moment. Storms are going to come. That's a given. It's just a matter of if we're prepared for them.
So true.
Yeah. So I just feel like we need to have the financial know-how. So we need to have the knowledge to start building those healthy financial habits now. Having that 3 to 6 months of emergency fund already tucked away is, ideal, but also having, additional savings, just saving being a part of your lifestyle, being that fixed expense, like Tanita was saying, and, putting it in a brokerage account as well. So you have more money that you can tap into if needed. So, always, and it's not just a plan for disaster, but it's also just a plan for, an abundant lifestyle. Right. Like, we don't need to live paycheck to paycheck. We don't need to have lack. We don't need to just spend everything that comes in. And so we need to learn how to live on less than what we have, than what we are bringing in. And so I think that'll help everyone to just be able to have those great financial habits, start building them now. In the good times, and definitely in the bad, you're going to need them. And then also for us to, have that plan in place.
Okay. All right. Just want to piggyback on what you're saying, that, some people may have nothing happened to them. I personally can say that during this pandemic, I've still been working. I just moved from the office to at home. But yeah, I'm not one of the people that are thinking that nothing is going to happen, because you just never know. You never know. I'm a government contractor, and we're already, every year they're talking about, is there going to be a government shutdown? So, it's there's always something. There's always something, just like you said, sickness or what have you. Like those answers, ladies. Thank you. Also, so what is one piece of advice for someone struggling with their finances? We'll go back to you, Bree. Go ahead, start with you.
So I just can't stress enough, have a plan. It's not very hard. It can be very simple once you get clear about what is a priority to you, what is of value to you. So just put together your plan, and inside of your plan, it should have the things that you desire and want, such as vacation and more. And, make sure all your bills are paid, of course, and maybe having a shopping trip. But it definitely needs to have that saving aspect in there as well to plan for the future. And that's not always disasters. That can be retiring early. That can just be just in case, whatever. Like maybe you just get sick of your job and you're like, I need a year off to go travel the world. Do it. It just should not be for select people. And so have a plan and have savings as a part of that plan, because you never know when you'll need it. You never know when you may need a mental break or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is what I have to stress more than anything. And if you are having difficulty with getting your own plan in place, get you a great mentor that can help you, that can coach you and guide you along the way. There's no reason for you to start from scratch trying to figure everything out on your own. There are trained professionals. You see 3 of us up here on this panel. There are more out in this world. Find one that suits you and that is going to help you in your personality type. You can't listen to just everybody or anybody. And so, find out who is your mesh and that is going to help you to get to your finish line. And don't be scared to ask for help. Don't feel embarrassed about where your finances are right now, because the best day to start planning was yesterday. The second best time is today.
I like that.
Wow.
Tanita.
Bree, I think you might have gotten my notes because you hit every point, even down to the mentor. But I mean, I'll just say it again. I agree totally. My thing is set goals, whether, set short-term goals, set long-term goals, and just make sure that your savings is incorporated into those goals. Those goals will can be turned into a budget. Just basically create a roadmap for your own finances and start out with the numbers that you already have right now. Just write down what's your income, write down your fixed expenses, write down your variable expenses, write down, where you aspire to be financially and what it would take to get there. I would also say connect with like-minded people who are also striving to get to where you're trying to go, so that you can have an accountability partner, someone who's going to check in on you and say, hey, sis, or hey, bro, how are you doing on goal number 2? If you're struggling with it, they would be more than willing to assist in some kind of way, whether it's moral support or putting in some legwork to help you accomplish some tasks in order to achieve those goals. I would also say seek professional help, even if it's simply a consultation. Sit down with a professional and get a consult on how to start, where to start, what to do, because the lack of knowledge can cause you to just shut down and not want to move forward. So the more you are, seeking knowledge, you become more empowered to push forward. So definitely seeking professional help would help that out. And then I have another one. I said just keep positive affirmations in your spirit every day. When you wake up, just think about how successful you already are. Just fix your mind into just thinking like a successful person. Stop impulsive spending. Always just make sure everything that you do is with a purpose and it is another step toward achieving a goal, so that every action that you're taking now, your future self will thank you for it.
I like that. I like that. Just listen at some of the things that you guys are, especially this last question that you were bringing up. You were talking about have a plan, a plan. So, Bree, what would a basic plan for someone who may have grown up with not seeing anyone ever doing a budget. It's always robbing Peter to pay Paul. They just don't have a clue. If they wanted to say start right now, after the live is over with, what would be a suggestion that you would tell them to do?
So the most basic plan I would start with is a budget. And this is what I did when I started on my financial journey. I would go ahead and just use pencil and paper. We don't have to get fancy.
Mm-hmm.
I had a list. I kept a little binder, but I had a list and I had all of my bills up there and their due dates. Please, let's pay bills on time. So I listed them in order of due dates, and then on the left hand side was the dates. The name of the bill was in the middle, and then on the right hand side, I would go ahead and put the amounts of what each bill was. So then each month, I already know what my bills are. So now for when I go to do my budget, I'll look at my other separate piece of paper and I'll say, okay, first, what's my income and when is it coming in? So my paycheck comes in on the 3rd. First off, if my paycheck comes in on the 3rd and the rent is due on the 1st, we don't care about that grace period to put it in on the 5th. We're not going to do that. We're going to make sure that when we get paid on the 20th or, whatever day that was, that's going to cover rent or mortgage for the next month. And so we'll put, this is when I'm getting paid. These are the bills that need to come out of this paycheck. And if you're already a little behind, it's okay. There's no judgment. You have to start somewhere.
Right.
But you write down what bills have to come out of that paycheck. And if anything is left over after that. And when I say bills, you also have to factor in your groceries, your gas, things like that I call discretionary expenses, because they change in amount sometimes each month. But you can make them a set amount if you get yourself on a budget. You can say, I'm not spending more than $150 a week at the grocery store, and I'm not going out to eat. So that's it. That's my food budget, and that's what I'm going to stick to. So I would just say, go ahead and write out when you're getting paid, the amount on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, write down all the bills that got to come out of it. Once you hit 0, stop, because ain't nothing left that you can do. And then, start on the next check and just keep doing that throughout the month.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the most basic plan that you can have in place, just to start knowing what your money, what's coming in and what's going out. The biggest thing is just having knowledge instead of just kind of going through the motions each month, to actually know what your bills look like, being able to spit out those numbers on the fly, and knowing what your check should look like as well.
Okay. All right, that's good. I see Antoinette has she has joined in online. She's not live with us, but she has up here a comment up here that Chavon is sharing, and she is so right. If you take what you actually bring home, what gets deposited in your bank, or the check that you receive, you take that and see how much you actually bring home a month, and then just total up how much you pay out on your bills, food, tithes and offering, all of that. You do sometimes you get a big reality check. I would say when I first started my journey of that and being a single parent, it was a reality check. I had to cut up the credit cards, and I had to really get tight with the, not eating out, just the frivolous spending, So yeah, it is a big reality check, a big reality check. But it also gives you an eye-opening opportunity to see the extra things that you're doing that are making you feel sometimes so anxious when it's time to pay the bills. So, okay, I have another question when we were talking. Tanita, I want you to answer this question. What advice could you give for someone who is wanting to start, say, a business? Because you do a lot with that, with the, with businesses. what would be, say, if they only have, because we were talking about making sure that you have 3 to 6 months savings. It's not just personal. If you don't have a business, just, building up for your personal, but it's also if you have a business, because you will run into a rough patch. Maybe even starting off, it's a little slow. So what kind of advice could you give someone if they were wanting to start a business, as far as some ideas how to save or cut back to make sure that they make it through those times?
Gotcha. Okay. Well, one thing I can think of the top of my head is to review your budget. So it's somewhat of a piggyback from what Bree was just saying. Um, you definitely have to have a budget in place, whether you're starting a business or not. You just have to, so that you can understand your finances. That way you'll know how much you can afford to take on. If you can even afford to invest in a new business at the time, at the moment, your budget will be able to tell you that. But one important thing that people don't do is go back and do an analysis. After you put your budget in place, sometimes you have to sit down and actually go back and review your finances and do what we call a budget versus actual analysis,
Mm-hmm.
right? And what that does is it shows you, okay, yes, you have this cute budget in place and it has a bunch of, numbers on it saying how much you need to spend on rent, how much you need to save, etc. But did you meet your mark? And if you did, then now you can challenge yourself a little more. If you did not, then you would need to see what areas am I putting in this budget that are unrealistic to my finances. Um, and that is very important, because in order for you to start a business or do anything, achieve any goal, you have to be able to save. You have to have savings set aside in order to be able to do these things that you want to do. But if your budget is not right, if your finances and your plan is unrealistic, then it'll be very hard to get there. And also, when you're planning this business, I think it's very important to make sure that you do not go into a business that has a lot of overhead if your budget is tight. I think it's safe to stick with those streams of income that are service based. If you can provide a service that allows you to bring in some income as opposed to selling a product, while products are great, and depending on what you sell, it may sell off the rack, but you have to purchase items in order to sell those items. So it takes more startup capital in order to start a business like that. So I would say if you have a tight budget, but you are looking to start a business, I would say start with a service based business that allows you to bring in additional streams of income so that it can help you improve your budget, and you'll be able to see more of a profit on a month to month basis, therefore more savings, obviously, because the more you save, the more you can do.
Okay, I like that. All right. So if someone wanted to reach out to you, Tanita, how would they contact you?
Okay, so I have multiple ways you can reach me. I am on all social media platforms, but most importantly, I would say visit my website, www.tanitatalksbusiness.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. You can find me at Tanita Brinkley Enterprises, or you can just walk into my office. I'm in the beautiful city of Norfolk, Virginia, on North Military Highway. My office number is 757-937-9565.
Okay. And if someone wanted to contact you, Bree, what's your contact information?
Yes, so I can be reached. The best way is going to be my website as well. And that's going to be bdsmithfinancial.com. So B as in Bree, D as in Dayshell. um, so bdsmithfinancial.com. I'm also on Facebook at BD Smith Financial or Bree Smith CPA, and on Instagram at Bree_D Smith.
Okay. And Antoinette, I know you're out there somewhere. Can you put in your information how someone could contact you? And we'll get Chavon to put that up on the screen. All right. All right, everyone. Chavon is placing that information up there for Antoinette. All right. Well, I enjoyed talking with you guys today. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Is there anything, any last words you guys, you ladies would like to say?
Sure.
Okay.
I would like to say, don't be afraid to see where you are right now. Sometimes when the times get tough, you people like to stay in the dark on their finances because the reality of it is so scary, and it'll kind of throw someone off. But I think awareness is the best way to grab hold of your finances and to set goals. So you have to know where you stand. So start now and plan out your budget. Whether you start with a piece of paper and pen, like Bree was saying, or you get a little more advanced and take it to an Excel spreadsheet. But start somewhere. Write
Right.
down your income and list out all of your bills and expenses so that you can see where you stand. And then from there, just start to set goals, financial goals of bringing in more income to cover those expenses, and goals to save more and invest more. Set up a consultation with myself or set a consultation with Bree so she can talk to you about those investments and how to grow your money.
Right.
But you have to start by knowing where you stand before you can think about growing.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Go
I
ahead.
would
Go
just
ahead,
say,
Bree.
okay. I would just say all of your dreams can become a reality. A lot of people, they just allow their dreams to float around in their head and just think that, hopefully someday it will happen by magic. We don't have magic in this lifetime, but we can make things a reality. We work hard every day to make other people's dreams come true and to build their empires that they have for their family and generational wealth. You can do it for yourself and your family as well. You just have to have, again, that plan in place and be willing to put in the work. You work hard anyway, might as well do it for
Right.
yourself. So I just want to say, that is the most important. Let's start making these dreams conquerable and, reaching them. We can live in them in this lifetime, in the next few years, not 30 years from now. And of course, set up a free consultation with myself or with Tanita, any of these lovely ladies that was up here, Antoinette as well. God wants us to have abundance. And so get a great mentor or coach on your team to help you accomplish that even faster.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. And that's all we have for you guys today.
Yes.
Enjoying the conference.
This was so amazing, ladies. Thank you so much for being willing to share your knowledge and your expertise. We literally have no excuse. We have no excuse. I mean, you all gave us a great just things to think of to really begin the journey, begin the process. And I said from the beginning, if they cut, when they tell you the truth about them, they be able to receive it, because talking about finances, it is a scary and touchy subject. But in order for us to see change, we got to be willing to do something different. And so Tanita, Bree, Antoinette, Kim, thank you all so much for extending your time. Definitely in this live, share your information so it's an easy click for them as well. But you all go and find these ladies who just gave so much wisdom. Get that consultation. They have some consultation offers for you. Go get a consultation and get started and begin this journey that can help us shift, because we think about the vision, we think about the goals, we think about where we want to go. And my thing as a coach is, okay, how do you get there now? What do you need to do now? And, I'm a coach, I'm a life and leadership coach. I'm not the financial coach. These ladies will get your finances right, whether about your personal life or about your business. And so that's important. And so go to them, not me, for the finances. So I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for sharing today. This was absolutely phenomenal. All right. See you all later.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Thanks.